Get your crunch on with Kuya Arnel's pork chicharrones. Crispy, airy, and exploding with flavor, this is the real deal snack you didn't know you needed. Grab yours on Amazon today. Craving something sweet, savory, and satisfying? Kuya Arnel's cooked sweet pork sausage is your new go-to. Fully cooked, perfectly seasoned, and made with love. Just heat, serve, and enjoy. Available now on Amazon. Taste the tradition.
Welcome to Why Did You? A podcast that celebrates the inspiring journeys of Filipinos across the globe. From mastering their expertise to overcoming powerful life experiences and succeeding in business, entertainment, sports, music, acting, and politics. These stories are filled with resilience, hope, and unstoppable Filipino spirit. Today, we sit down with a man whose name has become synonymous with discipline, order, and public service. Known for his no-nonsense approach to traffic management and his firm commitment to the law, Colonel Bong Nebreja is more than just a viral figure online. He's a leader who walks his talks. Join us as we uncover the story behind the uniform, the mission behind the megaphone, and the heart behind the headlines. Welcome to Why Did You, Mr. Bong Nebreja. Can I call you Sir Bong?
Anything. Arnel, pwede kahit na bong lang, walang problema.
No, the first time I saw you, I don't remember when, but nandun ka, sir, sa flyover. And then talaga nagagalit ka rin sa mga nagagalit ka sa mga motor talaga na lumilipat na lane, and there's a carousel, and it was so effective. I think that was post-pandemic era. So, sir, I wanted to let you know I admire and you're an inspiration, and magaling po talaga kayo.
Arnel,
Sir,
thank you
let's
for
start
the
about
appreciation.
at the beginning. Can you share a bit about your background, where you grew up, and what experiences or mentors shaped your early views on discipline, order, and service?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, Arnel, I'm the youngest in the family of 9. No? And the thing is, when I was born, my father was already old. I think he was already 49, and my mom was 42. So ako, no? Hindi nila alam kung paano ako. But then again, we have a big gap with my brothers. Yung 6 to 7, I think we have a 9-year gap. So akala nung mother ko, hindi na, that's the last. Yung pang 6 namin, bunso na. Then here comes another 3, and I was the youngest, no? I'm the youngest in the family. I grew up being balagoong sa pamilya kasi when you're the bunso, ikaw yung utusan, ikaw you do the dirty chores. Kung merong hindi nagagawa, bong ikaw to, bong ikaw yan. I was trained. Basically, the house was basically my first training ground. No? I admire
Sir,
my
sa
parents.
lugar po ito?
Born and raised in QC, Quezon City.
Manila, Quezon City. Okay.
Yes. Oh, so basically, like what I've said, the house is my first training ground. Well, I appreciate how our parents brought us up. No special treatment. Alam mo, hindi kami lumaki na mayaya or anything like that. We do things on our own. No? Kaya yun ang na-appreciate ko sa parents ko kasi well, we could have the comfort in life, but they trained us to be, to work hard. No? Kaya nga nung sinasabi ko, when I entered PMA, it's much worse in the house than this. Sabi ko sa nila. So I think my mom was preparing me to become a plebe. Arnel, actually, I'm a product of the public school system. Right?
Okay. And it's a good product.
Primary, yeah, I think we had a good educational system before. Like what I said, nung ako nagpunta, I have a good foundation of English and math, so it wasn't that hard for me. Magaling yung mga teachers namin before, magaling yung setup namin before. I just do not know today. I do not want to compare, but it was during our time. I think that's the prime of public education then. We were competing with other public and private schools, and hindi kami nakokolelat dyan. And we have the best products. I took my primary schooling sa Project 3 Elementary School, my secondary sa Quirino High School, magkatabi lang yon.
Quirino High School.
And then nagpunta ako ng PUP for one time sa computer engineering. Yun sana gusto kong tapusin. Then before I learned about PMA. Kaya
The
ako nag-PMA.
PMA, was it on your own volition or was it pressure by the family?
It was. Well, I was never pressured, but I grew up knowing PMA because when I was in grade school, I remember yung father ko, he would watch PMA graduations. Kasi yung
Okay.
father ko napaka-loyalista nito, no. Talagang die-hard Marcos to. He even turned down the offer to be an immigrant in the US because he said, I couldn't vote if I will migrate to the US. So that's how
Realista
patriotic
talaga,
and
no?
nationalistic yung father ko, no. Every time that there's PMA graduation, alam naman natin pag PMA graduation, presidente ang guest of honor and speaker, di ba?
Correct.
And he would wait for that speech ni Marcos. And nung I was growing up, iisa lang ang TV namin. So kung nanonood na yung father ko ng PMA graduation, wala
You
lang
have
ibang
no choice.
makakapanood. It's
Yes,
either you
yes.
like it or not. I'll stay with my father sitting beside him and we will watch. And he would clap pag may Quezon City, pag may La Union, because we're from La Union, nag-graduate, no? Even though he didn't know them. And that's how I first learned about PMA. So hindi ko alam, bata pa ako, hindi ko alam kung gaano kahirap, hindi ko alam kung gaano ka prestigious yung institution. When I was in college in PUP, tatlo kami nag-aaral. My sister was 4th year, my other sister was in 3rd year taking up computer science, both of them. And ako naman computer engineering. I was in on my 1st year, no. And even though na Polytechnic University of the Philippines to, hindi naman kamahalan ng tuition diyan, ano. But the daily fare, baon, yung mga school projects and all that, I can feel the toll that it's bringing up the family when it comes to our budget, ano. Kasi nag-retire na yung father ko, we were living on the pension, so we were still paying the house. And so there are so many things on the table na kailangan bayaran pa. And I felt it kasi engineering ako eh.
Yeah, computer
Every
engineering.
time, even every time I need something in school, for example, kailangan ko ng tech pen, kailangan ko ng mga sa projects ko because I was taking up computer
Rotring at
engineering.
saka Stedler.
Oh, yes. Precisely. So every time I need something like this, I would write to my brother in Canada. Sabi ko, bro, Manong, kailangan ko ng ganitong mga materials sa ko, and I will wait for him to send it to me. Yung pambili ko na. So it was hard. I feel it. So sabi ko, saan kaya ako magiging makakapag-aral na I do not need to spend yung mga daily expenses mo na pamasahin. And I was walking one time, papasok ako ng gate ng PUP. I saw in the bulletin board, be a PMA cadet. So I stopped. I read through it. Sabi ko, okay to. Scholar ka, free board and lodging, assured employment after graduation. And I was just thinking that way. Hindi ko alam kung gaano kahirap. Hindi ko alam yung serbisyo na pupuntahan mo after graduation. And then, I took it. And hindi naman sa pagmamayabang, ang girlfriend ko noon, nung nandun ako sa PUP, was the Miss PUP herself. So, I was torn between pursuing yung PMA. It was never my dream. Actually, I wanted to become a computer engineer that time. Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to become a doctor. Nung nag-high school na ako, I was trying to choose a career path for me, and I was looking at computer engineering because nasa infancy stage pa lang yun eh.
Yes.
Actually, we did not even have an own department sa PUP noon. I wanted computer engineering lang. Kung hindi ako papasa, I took exam in Ateneo, in UP, in different big universities na may computer engineering. I did not pass. I passed sa TIP and I was granted a Guillermo Foundation Scholarship for 5 years. I turned it down kasi wala silang computer engineering eh. So, and then I ended up, PUP meron, I was supposed to study in Mapua. I passed in Mapua. Pero sabi ko nga sa'yo, like what I've said, I was feeling the toll of paying tuition fees and all that. Ang Mapua nun, mahal na tuition fee, no? Private kasi yun. So,
So when did you start sa PMA?
I
What year was
reported
that?
April 1, 1987. April 1,
87.
1987. So
And
from
that's
there,
why behind you, it was 99, so your batch 91 na
yes,
TMA,
yes,
correct?
yes.
Hindi na ako magtatanong tungkol dun sa previous Miss PUP and dito
Oh, wala.
sa press currently. Okay.
Oh,
Hindi ako
wala.
magtatanong doon, Sir Bong. Because, and based on my research, I saw some one of your videos that, did you live in the US for a certain
Yes,
period of
for
time?
a time, yes.
Because
That's why
I was listening about this podcast about you driving a motorcycle and you were in San Francisco. Is that correct? How long
correct,
did you
correct,
stay
correct.
there? So after
Ah,
the 91, you graduated from UMA, you went to the States?
hindi. I served in the Navy for 20 years. I think that was
Okay.
sometime 2006. I retired in 2007 eh. My retirement was 2007.
That's
I
a big
needed to
one.
go to the States because my family have been there since 2002. Mahaba kasing istorya yung
Okay, no.
when I
Let's just go,
it's okay,
let's
it's
just make
okay.
it in a nutshell, yeah.
That's part of the story of my life story.
Uh-huh.
Kasi nung 1992, nabuntis ko si Mrs. No? She was supposed to go to the US during that time. So I said, well, I guess we need to build our family first. So we need to defer this dream na mag-US ka as a nurse. So palagay ko, let's build our family first. So we had our first child, then in 1992, then we had our second child in 1997. So yun, then 10 years came so fast. 1992, 2002, sinisigil na ako ng misis ko. So sabi niya, do you still remember your promise? Yes, I do. Sabi niya, could this be the chance na makapunta? And I went for schooling in the US. And then
for what?
So Shepherd then yung
board exam na nursing, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And her career started from there.
In San Francisco.
In San Francisco, yes. She's still working at California Pacific Medical Center.
And it is very expensive to live in San Francisco.
It is.
As we all know.
Yes, we do not live there. My wife just works there. We live in Daly City. Parang a city.
Maraming Pinoy doon, Sir Bong.
Marami. Sobra. Kaya araw foggy doon dahil maraming nagsasaing na Pinoy. Sabi nila.
Yeah, I've been there once and totoo. Actually, I went there summer and I was surprised. So tama nga, sabi mo nga, maraming Pilipino nagsasaing.
Yes.
So what did you do when you were in San Francisco?
When I was in the US, kasi my goal then, hindi naman ako pinipilit ng wife ko mag-retire. But my son was already going to high school then. So, alam mo naman ang high school sa US, yung influencer. So, I got so scared. Sabi ko, so I needed to make a choice between family and career. Hindi ko naman sila pwedeng pabalikin na dito because my children do not have friends here anymore. You know, magagaling na mag-English baka pagdating dito, papagtawanan ng mga tao. But anyway, so I went there. I wanted to guide my children hanggang makagraduate ng high school. At least. Then I was trying to look for a job. I really wanted to become parang police, So I was still young then eh. So sabi ko, parang gusto ko mag-police pero subukan ko lang muna test the water. So I applied as a dispatcher. Nag-dispatcher ako doon. Well, nag-training ako, then I took the exam, pumasa ako. Pero never got the chance to work as a dispatcher kasi wala, I just got bumped off sa mga interviews. It wasn't God has other plans for me. So,
Yes.
So ngayon, sabi ko, maatid ko yung mga bata, masusundo ko rin sila sa hapon. Sabi ko, substitute teacher muna ako. So I took the California Basic Educational Skill Test. Pumasa naman ako. So meron na akong permit to do subbing, substitute teacher. So ganoon lang ginagawa ko. Then I was hired as a professional tutor by Professional Tutors of America. So nagtuturo ko. Gratifying at the same time. Kasi may kita mo yung naggusto ka ng mga bata, nakakapagturo ka. It's very challenging kasi mo magturo ka sa Amerika, di ba?
Yes.
So,
and also, ang tagal mo rin pala natira dito sa Amerika.
Siguro mga 5 years, something like
5
that.
years din.
So nung nag-college na yung mga bata, my son went to the US Navy. And then,
siya ng Navy ngayon.
sa US Navy.
Passing the baton.
So ngayon, ako naman, my brother passed away in sometime 2010.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And he was supposed to be the youngest in the family. But most of my siblings are also abroad, Australia, Canada, US. So
Everywhere.
kaya kami na lang naiwan dito. And then when the time came na, yun nga, he was taking charge of the family interest here in the Philippines and bigla siya pumanaw. I made that decision kasi
Come back.
kasuhin ko, di ba? And then few years after that, my niece got appointed sa MMDA.
Yun
And
na.
that's when that's when my career started with MMDA. But actually in between, I was in security for a time, and then yun, napunta na ako sa MMDA.
Alright. Sir Bong, what a beautiful story. Kaya pala, alam kong matalino ka kasi dahil sa
Oh.
pinag-aralan mo. But I believe that katulad ko din, pag natira tayo sa Amerika, we have no choice but to speak English. That's why pag
Totoo.
pinapanood kita, ang galing-galing mo mag-English. Sabi ko, si Sir Bong, MMDA. Pagkatapos, pagka may in-English siya ng mga English
Foreigner,
din niya.
oo. Nga eh.
Galing. Sabi ko,
There were quite a few. I remember 2 instances na may foreigner ako na-encounter. One was, talagang yun na nakakainis, Arnel, kasi we were manning the bus lane, no? Wala pa sa kaliwa, nandun pa sa kanan niya. So we have, ang tawag namin yellow lane, and pambas patabi ko. So pinapatabi, I was waving him off to get out of the yellow lane. And then when he passed by me, naglower siya ng window niya, and he pointed at me and called me. So sabi ko, what? Oo. And then this guy started ranting at us. Sabi niya, I will get down of my vehicle and I will tear your heads off. I will, parang sinasabi niya, I will run off. Tumabi kayo dyan, sasagasari. Parang ganun yung gusto niya sabihin. And I was so mad because saan nakakuha ng lakas na loob tong foreigner na to? Naganto-gantoin kami. Sa sarili natin bansa,
At nasa Pilipinas
siya. Pag tayo sa kanila, sumusunod tayo. I even told him, I just do not know if you can do that in your country.
Correct. Oh, yes.
Why are you doing that here? So tapos he started videoing us. Tapos sinasabi niya, I got apprehended by these enforcers and they just want my money, So and I was really so mad. And I know my emotions might get the best of me. Tumawag ako ng police. Sabi ko, kindly, kung ayaw niya magbigay ng lisensya, apprehend him. HPG, nagbigay naman siya ng lisensya. And he was trying to intimidate me na if you will not let me go, I'm ready to call him. Pinapakita niya sa akin telepono niya, may pangalan na secretary doon. Yung secretary na pinapakita niya, PMA. Sabi ko, why don't you call him? I'll talk to him. He's a PMA. I'm a PMA too. Sabi niya, I apologize.
Wrong number, Sir Bong. Wrong number.
Talaga. But it's so surprising na itong foreigner na to, nagsumbong sa isang undersecretary ng DOE. Sinabi niya yung nangyari sa kanya, but baliktad na. Kami na yung nangungutong, kinukutongan daw namin siya. Ito yung, yung undersecretary, I think the undersecretary was PMA Class 82. So tumawag sa akin, Bong, yung nangungutong na enforcer mo sa EDSA, sabi ko sir, hindi namin pinapayagan yan. Hindi, may video ko. Bigay mo sa akin yung video and I will, I will make sure na anuin namin yan, kakastiguhin namin. Tapos ang may twist Sabi niya, Bong, yung magko-complain na hindi Pilipino, foreigner to, Amerikano. Di, sabi ko, ilang beses ka ba makaka-apprehend na Amerikano sa isang araw sa EDSA, di ba? So I said, sir, ito ba pangalan ng Amerikanong sinasabi mo? Oo, paano mo alam? Sir, siraulo yung kaibigan mo. Sabi ko, siraulo yung kaibigan mo. Kami pa babalik na rin. Sabi ko, antayin mo na lang yung video na ipopost namin. Once it's posted, then you call me back. Sabihin mo sa akin kung anong gagawin ko. Sabi sa kanya. So, pinost ni Gadget Addict yung video, lumabas.
Ayun, I was about to say that. I've been watching his post or his social media, yung Gadget Addict.
Yes.
American siya, right? American din, no?
British. Actually, British siya.
British. Okay.
So, British siya who joined us in November of 2017 pa.
matagal na pala siya
He's been with us for a long time. But the
Ah,
thing is, we did not file any charges against him. Nag-viral yung
sabi ni Mayor Lim, "The law is maybe harsh, but it
but
is the
still the
law."
law.
'Di
But still
ba?
the
Sabi nga
tama
ni
yun,
Mayor
tama
Lim.
yun, tama yun.
Oo.
Kaya yun
Sir
ang
Bong,
ano.
oo. Ang galing, galing. Sabi ko nga, iba yung pagka-strikto mo. Kahit ako nung nakita kita, first time ko na sa EDSA, eh. Sir Bong, sabi mo na sa'kin, siyempre di naman tayo magkakilala pa nun, eh. What inspired you to step into the world of public service, particularly in traffic, safety, and urban management? Ba't ito yung napili mo, Sir Bong?
Actually, Arnel, I did not choose this until now. I haven't
Hmm.
chosen any of my positions sa MMDA. Like what I've said, I was in security. Actually, at that time, I was vacationing in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken, when my niece called. This was
Uh-huh.
after the 2016 election. So sabi niya, nung nanalo na sa PRRD, sabi niya, Tito, you need to help me out. Why? I was appointed as assistant secretary. Oh,
Uh-huh.
sabi ko, that's great. Saan? Sa MMDA. I will hire you as my consultant. So, sabi ko, sige. Natatandaan ko noon parang August 21 siya nag-report. August 24, nandun ako sa MMDA rin together with her, no? And that's where it started. I started my career sa MMDA. Lang behind the desk lang, I'm a desk guy. But it's a preparation for everything, I guess. Because nung nandun ako, I was assigned sa office niya. She was the assistant general manager for operations. Nandun ako as her consultant. Di ako yung consultant na 15:30 lang magre-report. I was there every day sa opisina. So what I did, I tried to study kasi lahat ng mga reports na pupunta sa akin, I tried to review it, So nalaman ko kung anong ginagawa ng MMDA, from traffic management, solid waste management, flood control, urban planning, and all of this, no, na nabasa ko isa-isa. Yung mga resolutions ng MMDA, yung mga basehan nila, ng mga ginagawa nila. So little by little na nalalaman ko, di ba?
Traffic ang MMDA, marami pala siyang
Maraming
branches, no?
mandates, seven
Marami pala.
mandates, no? To
7
include health
mandates.
sanitation and pollution control. Amin 'yan. Public safety, meron din kami. So, yun ang siguro yung preparation ko for MMDA, for the succeeding jobs that I had sa MMDA. Basically, nagkaroon ako ng review. I do not know if other employees
Hindi lang
na.
hindi lang basta, okay, MMDA ka kasi alam
Oo.
naman natin, 'di
At
ba?
saka
As far as I could remember, the late Bayani Fernando is
yes.
yung MMDA.
Yes.
Napakagaling, sabi ko nga. Ibang klase.
Magaling.
I've been going to Marikina City regularly every
Yes,
Monday.
yes.
And nakita ko ang palengke, walang putik.
Malinis.
Tapos naglilinis sila, 'di ba? Kaya
Yes.
sabi ko, ito yung dapat talaga maging leader. And he was appointed as a MMDA chairman
Yes.
during that time. And marami siyang nakaaway na mayor.
Glorious, I think,
Oo.
one of the glorious years ng MMDA yon during his
Sir
time.
Bong,
Until now.
I wanted to tell you this. I wanted to tell you this personally from me. Whenever I see you, I could see the political will of Bayani Fernando in you.
Oh, grabe.
Hindi kasi nakita ko kung stricto eh. Nakita ko kung paano siya magpaalis ng mga illegal vendors, okay?
Yes,
Illegal
yes.
vendors eh. Nakita ko kung paano siya magpaalis ng mga obstruction sa
Yes.
daan. Kita rin kita how you do it, the political will, the manner how you talk, you know the law, and the approach.
Yes.
Hindi ko sinasabing binabastos mo sila. Whenever you open your mouth, I listen to it and sinasabi mo, you have an explanation and after
Correct.
that, you're going to tell or you're going to say the law behind it. That's why you are
Yes.
so protected in everything that you do.
Tama. Tama.
And Sir Bong, you become familiar and respected figure in traffic enforcement. What was the journey like getting there? Can you share like a key challenge early in your career that tested your commitment?
It wasn't easy actually, Arnel, kasi like what I've said, pumasok ng MMDA behind the desk as a consultant, di ba? But the thing is, if you remember, ang persona ni Presidente, sabi niya, MMDA, clear all roads of unnecessary
We're talking about
obstructions.
Presidente Duterte?
Duterte, 2016,
Okay,
persona.
okay.
Sabi niya, MMDA, specifically addressing MMDA, clear all roads of unnecessary obstructions, that to include illegal parking and illegal vendors, sabi niya. So, the acting chairman din, si Yusek Tim Orbos, we need to,
Magaling din
we
yan.
need to heed the call of the president. Sa atin naka-address eh. Ang gagawin natin. Their answer to that was create a task force. So, create a task force, kapit bising. So, yon finorm nila. I was not involved there. Kasi when it comes to this kind of operations, I was the odd man out. To tell you honestly, I was the odd man out. Bakit? Navy, piloto sa Navy, galing ng Amerika, knows nothing about traffic. So, wala lang, I'm the guy outside the bubble. So they formed the team, and then this was first handled by a police colonel. Overseeing him is an Air Force general. So nung inalis sa Task Force Capit Bisig yung police colonel, nag-assume yung Air Force general. We did not get the result that we wanted. Then it was turned over to a lawyer,
Alright.
and then turned over again to the director. Then naubusan na ng kapalit. Yung mga nauna sa akin, I think they have other jobs eh. Hindi dedicated
Okay.
doon sa task force. So, nung wala na mapili si Sir Tim, sabi niya, Bong, kaya mo ba to? So, there was no full trust and confidence. Parang susubukan, kaya mo kaya to? Parang gano'n. So, sabi ko, Sir, kakayanin. When I was talking to him, sabi ko, Sir, the only way for us to succeed in this is to make it relentless operations. Relentless, anong ibig mo sabihin? Sir, araw-arawin natin. Paano mo, kaya bang araw-arawin yan? Sabi niya gano'n, Sir, kaya to. Because if we will not do it that way, mapupulaan lang tayo ng papogi and nothing will happen. They will not believe in us.
Consistently
Yes.
doing it. Yes.
Yes. Tama yan. Yan ang battle cry ko. Consistency is the key. Prawin natin. So that's why when we started with this, and then alam mo pa yung attitude ng mga tropa kasi I did not grow up in MMDA. So there was also a resistance. Galto, din yan, sino ba yan? Di ba? Wala akong pakialam kung colonel yan. There was a leadership challenge. I do not care if you're a colonel. If you did not grow among us, hindi mo alam yung gagawin namin. Di ba? So,
parang outsider ka pa rin.
Outsider ka pa rin.
Correct. Yeah.
So, kaya lagi ako nagpe-pep talk sa mga tao. I always brief them every morning. I will be with them. So, ngayon nakita nila yung difference. Ako yung hepe na sumasama dun sa operations. Hindi yung ako yung magsasabi, ito gawin mo. I will let you go. Pag kayo nabulilyaso, ay bahala kayo sa buhay nyo. So,
I have a recent interview, Sir Bong, with attorney Fred Mison, former Commissioner of Bureau of Immigration.
Yes, I know him.
Yan din sinabi niya. It's a leadership by example. Every day, kung gusto mong pakita mo nga sa empleyado mo, you have to be present and you have to be there all the time. Katulad ng ginagawa mo. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
Hindi. That's true. So that's why slowly, syempre, of course, 'di ba? We need to be cohesive, 'di ba? Nung una kasi this is an ad hoc team eh. So when I was requesting for personnel na mabubuo nun, they gave me personnel coming from retraining. Pag ni-retraining ka sa MMDA noon, may kapalpakan kang ginawa, may bulilyaso ka or something. So basically,
para may mga problema na yung taong nakuha mo.
Yes, totoo. Hindi, totoo, Arnel. I called them. I always tell them this nung nandun kami. Para kaming bunch of misfits. Ang sabi nga, we are a bunch of misfits. May kanya-kanyang kultura, may yung iba, may kanya-kanyang kaso. Different. But then again, no judgment. Sabi ko sa nila, whatever it is, suguhin natin yan. No? Kaya nga, I remember one of my pep talks sa kanila. Sabi ko, stay with me. No? Kahit ano pa yung nakasulat sa noon nyo, nakotongero, namamayola, abusado, and all that. We will remove that. Sabi ko sa niya, we will remove all those branding na binigay sa inyo. Actually, we will not only remove it, we will change it. Gagawin nating marangal, masipag, maayos, magalang, and all that. No? It was hard kasi trying to discipline the very people that I work with, and at the same time, we want to discipline the people on the road. So,
Can you see that, Sir Bong? Ang hirap ng role mo eh. Parang parang sword, a double blade.
Double-edged,
Kailangan mo disiplinahin ang mga
tao
tao sa EDSA or ang mga motorista. At the same time, yung mga tauhan mo rin, which
Correct.
we all know it's been there for a long time. Sabi mo nga,
Correct.
misfits di ba? Pero ang galing ng leadership.
Pero
One thing I could say,
yeah.
you are a genuine leader. You're not a boss. Yon, I want to tell you that. You are a leader. Authentic leader. Siyempre, boss sa Nebria, Boss Bong. Hindi. Colonel Bong Nebria. With the
Yeah.
title, with the leadership.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sir Bong. Continue, sorry.
It was really hard. Mga when I get to know my men already during that time. Sabi ko, I'll take advantage of the experience of these people. Kasi itong mga to, babad sa ground eh. Kung gumagawa ng masama man to dati, so alam nila yung kalakaran eh. They know what's happening on the road. So that's why I took advantage of it. Paano magagawin dito? And they know how to profile. Sir, ito, kolorum. Sir, ito, walang papel yan. Sir, out of line yan.
Profile.
So, ang galing na nila eh, because they've been on the road for so long.
Right.
Alam na nila. Sabi ko nga, natatandaan nyo ba yung plate number? Sir, alam na namin yan. So, gano'n. So, I took advantage of the experiences ng mga tao na to and use it for the apprehensions that we made. Kaya nga nakakatuwa. May isa ako, I just want to share, may isa akong tao na ano to eh, kumikita siya before. Sabi niya sa akin, alam mo ba sir na kumikita ako ng 2,000 a day sa duty ko? Hours duty.
Sir Bong, wala pa yung resibo.
Wala. So sabi niya, sir, nakaka 2,000 ako a day per duty. So, and then, with that, may kinakasama siya, pinag-aral niya yung kinakasama niya, may anak yata siya, ganyan. So, talagang, he was living the life. Sabi ko, kung 2,000 mo, para kang director, di ba? Oo, para kang director na nag-ano. Sabi, yes, sir, ganyan po.
Wala pang tax yun.
Oo. So, and then, he was reassigned to me. Reassigned siya sa akin. And of course, he needed to stop it. So, naghigpit ng sinturon. Then, lumapit sa akin minsan, Sir Bong, naniniwala naman ako sa gusto mo mangyari. Pero, hirap na ako, sir. So, bakit talaga akong sinusweldo si puro ko load? Sir, yung girlfriend ko, napagtapos ko na ng pag-aaral, tapos iniwan na ako. So, yung mga ganong kwento ng buhay, na realidad. Sabi niya, baka pwede mo pagbigyan, pagpapalipat na lang ako. Sa totoo lang, sir, nung ikaw ang namin, happy lang, ayoko nang gawin to eh. Ayoko nang bumalik sa dati. Kasi naniniwala naman ako sa'yo, pero hirap na ako. Kailangan ko ng extra income. Sabi ko sa kanya ganito, hindi kita pakakawalan para bumalik sa dati. I will reassign you. Baka magkaroon ka ng less stress sa work, na hindi ka pagod, baka pagkatapos mag-work, pwede ka pang umextra, mag-grab, move it, mag-joyride, mag-TNBS. Sabi ko, pero huwag ka na bumalik sa dati. Alam mo kung bakit? Sabi ko na, pag bumalik ka sa dati, pag nahuli ka, matatanggal ka. Lalo lang mahirapan ang buhay mo. Mabuti naman, madiskarte naman tumama na to. And he established himself again. So maayos. I see him once in a while. Nakangiti naman. Sabi ko, I think life is good.
Sir Bong, ano mo na yun? Yun ang produkto mo. Nagkaroon ka na ng social and moral responsibility doon sa tao. And not only that, knowledge naman niya. Not only yung financial aspect na pangangailangan niya, pero I'm so glad that nakinig siya. Kasi sabi ko nga, pag merong leader at yung namumuno, talagang maayos at naniniwala na magbabago, I believe na susunod talaga ang nasa baba eh. Kasi nakikita ka eh. Hindi ka gumagawa ng mga bagay na alanganin. Hindi ka pumapasok sa mga sitwasyon na alam nila na mako-compromise yung iyong pagkatao or yung philosophy mo sa buhay.
Correct.
Somebody believes in you, like I said a while ago, you are a leader, not a boss. Sir Bong, day after day, you face not just traffic violations, but also criticism and pressure dahil syempre social media and nasa public nasa TV.
Yes.
What keeps you grounded and motivated to continue this work with fairness and consistency?
I think one is expectation. I do not expect too much. So, I do not expect everyone will love me or will like me. So I know that there will be someone who will be dissatisfied with what I'm doing, or who will not like me, as simple as that. I know na my job is a thankless job, no? Dami findo, dami findo.
Thankless
Pagbutihan mo, may magagalit sa'yo. Huwag mo pagbutihan, may magagalit pa rin sa'yo. Ang ano ko lang, what keeps me going, because I treat my job as a rare opportunity. Yun din yung sinasabi ko yung when I was training officers ng traffic enforcement. Sinasabi sa nila, officer kayo, you will lead men. Treat it as a rare opportunity. Hindi lahat ng tao nabibigyan ng pagkakataon to lead men. Leading your position could be a make or break also para sa inyo. Kaya training is very important. Sinasabi nila, no one is born as a leader, no. Experience will dictate on how will you lead your men.
Very good.
It's not science. Kako, there's no course for leadership. Sabi sa nila gano'n. It is an art. So, you need to feel. You feel it. Hindi yung pwedeng, dyan, ito yung sabi ni Bong Nebria, ito gagawin ko, no? So, ito, your leadership needs to come from your heart. Not genuine, like what you're saying, people-oriented, people-centered. You might have the vision, you might have the capability, but if you don't have the heart for your people, you will not succeed.
Yes. Tama po yan. Sir Bong, traffic safety and urban mobility often clash with political interests and public sentiments. How do you navigate this standard while still making decisions for greater good?
Alam mo, Arnel, I know where what my pay grade can do, no? So, nung nasa task force ako, I'm so honored, no? I'm so honored. Kasi my chairman, my general manager would ask me, Bong, sama ka sa akin, punta tayo sa Congress. Bong, sama ka sa akin, punta tayo sa Senate. So, nandun lang sa likod nila. Then, if something's being asked or opinion, congressmen and senators are getting their opinion, he would turn back to me, palagay mo, ano gagawin natin dito? Something like that. No? So, I was really honored kasi sabi ko, really? Parang does my opinion matter? Sabi ko gano'n sa kanila. But I think it's what you do on the road that gives them the trust that you know what you're saying. Yeah, because I've been there for 7 years. I've seen the ins and outs. Nakita ko na yung kalakaran. Marami na ako na-discover na kalakaran sa kalsada. But the thing is, when you say kasi, policy, the policy belongs to the politicians. The policy setting yan, sa taas yan, mga secretary. And then may operational, ito na yung mga boss ko, agency itself. And then kami parang nasa tactical level. Well, I trust the policymakers to do the right thing. So just like what I've said, politics sometimes play in a way. Dahil ang hirap kailangan mo balansehin din. For example, sa ano tawag dito, yung Guadalupe Bridge rehabilitation. Bridge rehabilitation. It was planned long ago.
Tama.
Ilan pa lang sasakyan nun. And then hindi tinuloy. PRRD, sabing gano'n. Hindi, bago natin gawin yan, mag-create tayo ng alternate bridge para tao. So that's why came the Pantaleon Kalayaan Bridge na ni-rehab, and then yung Makati Mandaluyong Bridge na nandyan, and then nagpatayo pa tayo ng isang tulay, crossing Pasig to Taguig, yung Santa Monica Bridge. So now we have 4 to include Guadalupe Bridge, parallel bridges crossing the North Manila to South Manila. But still, when we talk about EDSA rehab, everyone is apprehensive, has already projected that they will reach the 500,000 new vehicle sales this year. So you can just imagine, economy yan So 500, 26% goes to Metro Manila. So that's around 130,000 for this year alone. So meron pa tayong 2026, then 2027.
Yun nga, actually, Sir Bong, meron akong tanong dyan lately nga. Kasi gusto kong tanungin, yung traffic, it's napakaraming factors.
Correct.
I've seen this video. I've seen this video because I'm aware about the traffic, especially dito sa George Washington Bridge sa New York.
Yeah.
Dumadaan ako dyan. Nag-aralan nila kung paano nila i-resolve yung traffic dahil sobrang ilang lanes lang as compare ang daming trucks, ang daming cars, ang daming
Correct.
vehicles na dumadaan doon.
Correct.
Pinag-aralan nila. Sabi ko, I know yung Philippines, especially MMDA, ginagawa rin naman nila mag-consult dyan. Pero kahit siguro ako, kung authority ako or psychologist ako ng traffic, mahihirapan ako dahil every year, car dealership, merong certain quota na kailangan nila ibenta.
Kaya nga.
Wala kang paglalagyan ng mga sasakyan na dumadaan kung ang daan mo is parehas pa rin ng size. I'm so glad na
Correct.
naisip nyo talaga yung carousel Medyo lumuwag. 'Di ba,
Yung
sir?
carousel.
Ayan. Sir, ang tagal na. Ako, ang
The
tagal
best
kong natira
yun.
sa Pilipinas. Lagi lang tayo sa kanan, 'di ba? Dumadaan nung araw pa. Pero nung nakita ko yung carousel, sabi ko, nabawasan ang kita ng mga advertisers ng rear bus ads. Pero pero guminhawa naman ng traffic.
Correct.
No? Ang susunod na tanong ko pa rin doon, actually, yung NCAP.
Yes,
Nakita
NCAP.
ko, first time
Mm.
yung ginawa yung sa Commonwealth na nasa
Mm.
isang lane.
Yes.
Kamot ulo ng mga may motor kasi gusto nila bumili ng motor para they could go everywhere. But
Yes,
this
yes, yes,
time,
yes.
they were put into a certain lane that they have to use, then they have to stay there. Or else, you're gonna be fined with a certain amount of money, which is burdensome to them.
Totoo yun.
Sabi ko, ang hirap nung trabaho nyo. Not only that, I respect yung mga traffic enforcers. Why? Sir Bong, on the point of medicine or science, yung mga yung mga traffic enforcers natin, pag makapal yung uso, anong ginagawa? Sumisimangot lang. Parang hindi niya nasisinghot yon. Pero everything, mga carbon dioxide molecules na nasisinghot niya, masama yan sa kalusugan niya, especially
Yes,
pulmonary. Diba?
There's a study already.
Ang hirap Kahit ikaw, sir, no nakita kita sa EDSA, no,
Correct.
nakasombrero ka at nakatayo ka, pero hindi ka exempted sa usok, Sir Bong.
Hindi rin.
Dahil lahat ng usok na yon at init na
Correct.
nasasagap mo lahat. Kaya sabi mo, sir, I'm sorry, I interrupted. Lang yung tungkol sa car dealership na by 2026, at least alam ng mga tao, aware sila. So, na-delay na pa. So, 2027 na pala yung Guadalupe Bridge.
2027 na. So, by 2027, if we will start on the first quarter of 2027, if we will have 500 this year and another 500 next year, 26% of those, mga halos na lang, pag i-peg na lang natin, 200,000 ang nadagdag sa NCR. But of course, NCR lang yon. Meron ka pang karating probinsya, no, na we haven't addressed yet, yung Bulacan. Even Pampanga, we commute, minsan regular commuter na ang Pampanga So, daily commuter na tawag namin sa kanila because there are really buses coming from Pampanga who comes to Metro Manila on a daily basis. Even yung kotse, nagda-drive to work here in Metro Manila. So, Bulacan, Pampanga, Cavite, Laguna, and yung Rizal, yung Rizal, halos Metro Manila, paglagpas mo lang ng Marikina and Pasig, ano na yan, Masinag na,
Hindi na siya,
Rizal na yan.
Hindi na siya probinsya na tawag dati, di ba? Almost Metro Manila na.
Actually, ang daytime population natin is 15 million Ang actual population, ang actual population lang ng Metro Manila is 13 So we add up mga 2 million.
2 million?
Sa urban, we haven't addressed it yet. Pero transportation-wise, for example, Cavite, in-extend na natin yung Line 1. Sa Rizal, in-extend na natin yung Line 2. Sa Bulacan, gumawa na tayo ng MRT-7, di ba? And meron tayong train na papunta ng Bulacan and Pampanga. So, I mean, this will help eventually. Sa probinsya, if you want to come here in Metro Manila, huwag na kayong magdala ng sasakyan, mag-commute na lang kayo. And marami naman na tayong TNBS dito. So, it will be easier. Hindi na kayo magdadala ng sasakyan, makakabawas tayo ng sasakyan dito, no? Yun ang problema natin na urban migration is one. And then, sabi ko nga, by the time na 2026 or bago tayo magsimula, baka 200,000, the least, ang may idagdag na sa Metro Manila. And then, wala namang infrastructure na dumadagdag. For example, highway. By Skyway, Arnel, ginawa yan. So, ang projection namin dyan, nung binuksan niya, sabi namin, mga 100,000 ang mawawalan sasakyan sa EDSA, gagamit ng Skyway. Totoo, for a time. induce demand yan. New roads will entice more people to buy new cars.
Yes,
Or
correct,
more
Sir Bong.
roads.
Alam mo, actually, isa kami I'm so glad na nagkaroon ng Skyway kasi I'm from Caloocan. From
Correct.
the airport, ayun na nga lang ang computation ko, from the airport to Caloocan City, yung sa Skyway, I am so willing to pay for the toll. Kasi 25 minutes lang.
Correct.
Pero sabi ko nga, eventually, mapupuno din yan.
Pupuno rin yan.
Kasi dami ng sasakyan at saka ano na lang
Correct.
yung masisave mo na time and gasoline versus do sa toll rate na babayaran mo,
Yeah.
mapupuno rin talaga. Kaya tama yung meron akong nakita na post Kailangan po talaga natin ituloy yung mga build na infrastructure. Doon po talaga natin dapat ilagay yung pera ng
Yeah.
bayan. Opinion ko lang po. Opinion ko
Well,
lang po yun. Opinion ko.
actually, we haven't reached the required road networks dito sa Metro Manila. Kasi sabi nila, ang universal computation, if you have yung area mo, 80% should be road network. So tayo, 686 square kilometers, sabi na kailangan natin 8,000 kilometers of road network. Nasa 5 to 6 pa lang tayo. Kulang pa tayo ng mga 2,000 kilometers. Tignan mo naman yung Metro Manila kasi ilan ang villages dito, exclusive, yung di mo mapasok. We have Forbes, Dasmariñas, we have Corinthians, we have Greenwoods, Meadowwoods, or ano pa ba isa? Valle Verde. No? May kita mo, if you will look at Metro Manila, lalong-lalo sa sentro dito, dami natin mga villages. And these villages, it restricts the passageway. Ang dami mong right of way dyan. Katulad, ito na nga lang ito na nga lang subway. Dapat meron tayo dyan sa may White Plains area Pero hindi Bakit?
Ayaw.
Hindi.
Hindi pinayagan.
Villages dyan, di ba?
That's why they paid for a lot.
Yes, that's right. It affects yung urban planning natin, urban mobility. So talagang ang problema natin yan, yung availability ng road network. That's why nag-clearing ka. That's why ngayon sinasabi ng DILG, magkakaroon tayo ng parking ban from secondary to barangay level. Bakit? We only have so much available road networks. 5,000, kulang 6,000, di ba? Kulang nga tayo. And yet, hindi pa natin magamit yung ibang kalye dito. Bakit? Obstructed. Tinayuan ng basketball court. Puro puno-puno ng parking. Tapos may barangay hall. May barangay hall sa bangketa. May tent sa kalsada. What will you do? Right?
Yes.
What will you do? So, yun ang inaano ng na let's reclaim the roads again for its intended purpose para may malakaran yung mga pedestrian. So it's a tall task sa DILG at sa MMDA to do that. And yan na yung magiging, I think the operations in the next months to come is to intensify that.
Yeah. Actually, Sir Bong, my next question is about Metro Manila. I think nasagot mo na rin naman. As Metro Manila continues to grow and urbanize, what changes or reforms do you believe are most critical in the next 5 to 10 years for traffic management and road safety?
Before all our roads become parking lot, or a moving parking lot, the least, di ba? I think we need to change our mindset. It's all in the mindset. Alam mo, if you will go to EDSA, and look at the vehicles, the private vehicles there. Halos lahat, iisa lang ang driver lang. Driver lang. So, yun ang nakakalungkot. Ang ano natin yung pag-commute natin gamit ang kotse. Also,
siguro Sir Bong, suggestion ko lang, siguro dapat meron kang carousel sa left, yung second lane. Baka pwede yun, HOV, no?
Regulation. Nakikita ko yung carpooling sa iyo kasi yung Colorum ang gagawin nila magiging commercialize Hindi na sila kukuha ng ng prangkisa. Sasabihin nila, carpool kami. So makikita mo, dadami rin ulit yung mga van natin yan. And then
meron ako nakita meron ako nakita so social media. Sabi, saan ka pupunta? Mag-outing po kami. Nakaupo sa right side, nakapang office. Bakit ka nakapang office? Mag-outing kayo.
Kaya nga sabi, kaya ang hirap din i-tolerate yung mga ganyang bagay. Hindi pa namin
Sir
siguro
Bong,
we can find.
Meron akong suggestion. Suggestion ko lang to, alam ko suntok sa banto. Bakit kaya hindi karamihan ng Pilipino padala natin sa abroad? Tapos susunod sila, 'di ba? Tapos ibalik natin sa Pilipinas. In that
Parang
way,
bawasan
ma-retrain
yung
sila, ma-retrain. 'Di ba?
oo,
Ako,
oo.
sa Amerika
Yes,
nag-drive ako.
yes.
Although sumusunod naman ako sa Pilipinas, ng batas sa
Kaya
Pilipinas.
nga eh.
Pero pagdating dito, mas sumusunod ako. Bakit? Kasi pagka nagkamali ako, meron akong points na pag yung insurance ko, mananagdagan ako ng
Correct.
bayad. But kaya
Correct,
wala
correct.
tayong ganun. Sana meron tayong ganun,
Well,
no?
meron na tayong demerit system. Meron na tayong demerit
Demerits.
system.
Oo nga, oo nga.
Meron na tayong yan. It will affect your license. Ano? Pag naka-40 ka, marirevoke yan. At
Ngayon,
then, tama ka eh. Yung insurance, kailangan nakakabit sa insurance para tataas ang premium mo. Kung you're a bad driver, tataas ang premium mo, no? Kung you're a good driver, bababa ang premium mo. So, may
alam mo
incentive din.
naman, ang tao, lagi yan nasasaktan pagdating sa bulsa.
Correct.
Susunod pagka yung bulsa na yung tatamaan. Siguro yun lang, tulad ng ginagawa nyo, demerit
Yes.
system, at hindi lang. Pagka nag-register ka, alam ko Sir Bob, nag-register ka ng sasakyan mo at merong mga traffic violations, gugulat. Hindi ka makapag-register pagka hindi mo binayaran yung mga fines and penalties. Maganda yan, maganda.
Mindset talaga kailangan eh. Alam mo,
Oo, tama.
ilang policies na namin ginawa, hindi nag-push through eh. Kasi tama rin yung mga tao eh. Ang pagbili ng kotse sa Manila becomes a necessity. Dahil yung transportation hindi interconnected, hindi seamless, no? It's always sort of a chaos every time that you will commute using public transportation for them. No? Kaya ang ganda sana ng plano ng gobyerno kung natuloy yung bus rationalization, jeepney modernization, all of this. Maganda naman eh if it was only given a chance to push through, no? Ang bus carousel was brought about by the bus rationalization. Can you imagine 91 bus routes all over Metro Manila? City buses alone, 91 routes. And 61 of these passes through EDSA. So, ngayon, yung 61 na yan, ni-reduce natin, ginawa na lang natin isa. So, from 4,000 to 5,000, 4,000 to 4,500 buses before on EDSA, naging 550. And that's a great reduction. Ngayon, kasang bilang ng kotse ngayon, pero makikita mo, hindi pa rin tayo nag-i-stock kasi nawala na yung siksikan ng mga buses sa EDSA. So, yun ang palagay ko, Arnel, the solution dito. Well, I think mag-a-adjust din ng Pilipino kung sobrang traffic na talaga is yung mass public transport. Sana magtuloy-tuloy, mabuksan na yung subway, ma-operationalize na yung MRT 7, yung magkaroon na tayo ng BRT sa Quezon Avenue up to Espanya, all of these are in the pipeline but it will take years.
Nice.
Parang kaya nga lagi ko sinasabi, this will become worse before it gets any better.
Basta lang siguro, tuloy-tuloy lang yung mga projects and wag lang mapending, di ba? Tuloy-tuloy lang ang construction. I think we will get there.
Naalala ko, Arnel, nung nandun ako sa EDSA. Kasi sabi ko, sabi ko sa boss ko, ano ba kasalanan ko at yung ina-assign dyan? Sabi ko, palagay ko sa EDSA, it's a problem with no solution in sight. Parang it will just get worse every year, madadagdagan lang tayo, then wala tayong solusyon. Pero ang ginawa namin, wala pang bus carousel ang ginawa lang namin is, we were there every day. Trabaho ka everyday, mag-manage ka everyday, mag-responde ka everyday. Ang may kailangang ayusin na traffic, pumunta kayo doon. Doon, I think I told this to General Lim, if I'm not mistaken. Ano bang solusyon sa EDSA? Palagay ko walang solusyon sa EDSA. Because ang problema natin, volume, and we cannot do otherwise. Pero palagay ko kailangan nandun lang tayo para makita ng tao na may gobyerno who's trying to fix it. Diba?
Totoo yan,
So, yun,
sir.
that's what we brought on the table. Magpakita ka dyan. Malaman ng tao na
Visibility.
nagtatrabaho ka. Nandyan yung gobyerno. Alam nila yung problema mo. Diba? So, yun lang yun. Yun lang ginawa na. Ang palagay ko, yung mga tao, maniniwala if they see na we are serious in asking them to take mass public transport. Diba? I mean,
Tama.
that's a Filipino it's a cultural thing eh.
Yun.
Bago namin sundin yung pakiusap nyo mag-commute, kayo muna mag-commute. Parang ganon.
Sir
It's
Bong,
always been like
isa
that.
yan sa mga hinahangaan ko sa'yo. Dahil as provided by law, There are certain vehicles that needs to pass only the carousel. And talaga nakita ko yung political will mo. Tinatanong mo sila,
Yes.
naninita ka. Lisensya mo. Diba? That applies to everyone. Unless
Correct.
there's an exception. Pero kasama ka
Correct.
sa huhulihin eh. Kailangan sumunod ka. Tama yung sinabi mo,
Correct.
Sir Bong eh. Ako, siguro, itong solution dyan. Sabi mo nga, visibility. Pangalawa, dapat mag-clone tayo ng katulad ni Sir Bong Nebriha at saka yung mga staff mo. Patingin ko kaya eh. Kasi nasimulan mo na eh. Nakita ng mga tao, pagbabago. Tulad,
Yeah.
for
And
example, sa Manila, City of Manila, nakita ko yung ating mayor nagsisimula na rin magtrabaho. Can you
correct.
imagine if Mr. Bong Nebriha, the mayor of City of Manila, are working together sa isang lugar? Ay, napakagandang tandem yan. Ang
Correct.
sinasabi ko lang is consistency, persistence, visibility, all in
Correct.
one, pwede talaga mabago. Kasi may political will. Di po ba? Sir Bong, tanungin lang kita, simple lang. Sa journey na ginagawa mo ngayon, nag-enjoy ka pa ba?
Well, I do. No, I do. I really do
Okay, that's
enjoy.
good.
Yung plan, yung intention, yung gusto mo mangyari, little by little, nakikita mo na may pagbabago. That's where
Yes,
I
I
get
can
my
get it.
my well, satisfaction in what I do. Marami kasi nagtatrabaho but they do not believe in what they're doing. They're just there, they show up every day. Pero parang for them, parang wala naman to. Parang hindi naman ako nakakatulong, gano'n. Ano kasi, it doesn't show ng 1 day, ng 2 days, ng 1 week, 2 weeks.
No, it will take time.
It will take time.
time.
This was a problem created not yesterday, but long ago. Ang solution din dito, it will take time. Sabi ko nga, cultural eh. Cultural, how can you change a culture that easy? So it will take time. But then again, kailan mo sisimulan? Simulan mo na ngayon. Right?
Do
Simulan
it
mo na
now.
ngayon. Oh, do it now. Kasi,
Sir Bong, sa
sabi
tingin
mo,
ko,
it will take long.
pagka nandyan ka, at please, nakikiusap ako, huwag kang aalis dyan, pagtsagaan mo lang dahil para sa mga kababayan natin, kayang-kaya mong baguhin dahil nakikita ka nila eh. Social media, disiplina, yung tapang mo, and your firm decision, talagang pwede mo mabago. Sir Bong, mayroon akong question dito. From where you are now, do you see yourself taking on a more prominent role? Perhaps even an elective one in public service?
Since I was assigned in MMDA, 2019 pa lang. So 2016 I was there. The first election I had during my term sa MMDA. 2019. Ginagawa lang ni Bong yan para tatakbo sa 2019. Then, natapos ang 2019, nagkaroon ng pandemya. Ginagawa lang ni Bong yan para sa 2022. Ito, natapos na naman ang 2025, wala pa rin Bong Nebriha sa balota, di ba?
Okay.
Ako, sinasabi ko talaga totoo. If I will go up and given the chance, na pagpalagay mo, maging policy maker, lawmaker, di ba? I think I could bring a different perspective or insight doon sa position. Lagi na lang ganun kasi pag mayroong nagtatrabaho ng tama o nagsisipag sa kanyang trabaho, tatakbo yan. Tatakbo yan. Ganun. Parang it's the end all and be all ng public service is for you to become a senator or a congressman. I do not know why. Bakit hindi na lang tayo na utiya mo yung trabaho mo dyan, i-continue mo yung trabaho mo para may continuity until the time that you retire. Maybe you could have implemented changes. Di ba?
Yun ang sagot isang totoong Pilipino.
Kasi
hindi siya naghahabol ng isang posisyon kung hindi mapabuti lang talaga yung bayan.
Mapabuti lang. Can you imagine if there will be someone who will be promoted to this position and yung position na yun, pinagbutihan niya for 10 years. He devoted really his passion o yung time para ma-improve yung craft niya and yung maseservisyo niya. I think we will be better off somehow. Diba? Pero parang lagi na lang gano'n. Kung hindi ka maging politiko, if you're doing right and you're doing great sa position mo, kung hindi ka man maging politiko, scouting ka ng corporate, di ba? Sa corporate ka. And then no one will be left dun sa agency na nagpapa-implement. Kung meron man,
Correct.
na lang siguro yung mga nagtsatsaga na, no, hindi, dito na lang ako kaysa ma-stress pa ako dyan. So, something like that.
Sana,
Palagay
Sir
ko,
Bong, huwag kang mapagod sa Pilipino.
if given the
Sana
opportunity,
huwag kang
hindi,
mapagod.
I believe in what I'm doing. Palagay ko, may pag-asa tayo. Hindi ako defeatist, mentality na, porket may problema tayo, wala na, tapos na.
Ayaw na.
You know the problem, so you try to know the real
Solve.
problem behind, so that you can solve it, di ba? Ang problema, yung identifying pa lang ng problem, hindi mo na alam, and then there will be a problem in coming up with a solution.
Sir, ikaw kasi matalino ka eh. Kaya alam mo yung sagot. Kaya na-assess mo yung sitwasyon.
Yes.
You are the right person for the position. Sir Bong, katingin ko ulit, itong isang tanong na to, ako pa rin na makakapagtanong pa lang nito. Have you ever received a traffic citation when you were younger?
I did. Oo. Hindi, kinikwento ko to sa drivers. Gusto ko impart sa kanila kung bakit ko ginagawa yung ginagawa ko sa kalsada and what does it mean. Krimen ang magkamali ka sa batas trapiko. But the thing is, ganito, sabi sa niya, marami sa atin may accident. Hindi mo nakita, hindi mo napansin. There's no need to argue eh. Ang lagi ko sinasabi, alam nyo, pag nagkamali kayo, lalo na pag sinasandyaan nyo, iba yun, di ba? Kailangan nyo talaga matikitan to alter that behavior. Nung nahuli kasi ako, a mix of everything eh. Mali talaga eh. Dahil una-una, matagal ako sa Mindanao. Na-deploy ako sa Mindanao. Matagal ako doon. So, ngayon, nagbago ng traffic scheme dito sa may Villamor. Papunta akong Fort Bonifacio, muscle memory, akit ako ng Villamor, kakaliwa. Then 5 enforcer ang humarang sa akin sa harapan. Doon na sa kanto ng Sales. Sabi ko, bakit? Anong kasalanan? Sir, ano kayo? Counterflow. Paano ako magka-counterflow? Nasa right side of the road ako. Sir. Bakit? One way ba to? Sir, one way po ito. Kailan pa? Sir, matagal na po. Hindi, 3 buwan ako sa Mindanao eh. Kako, hindi ko alam na, na one way na to. Meron talaga. So, tinignan ko pa. Sa nakalagay yung sign. Yung sign parang kasing laki ng paper plate. Nakalagay no entry o one way, di ba? Tapos, nakadikit dun sa puno. So sabi ko, and you expect me to see that? Sir, nakalagay po yan. Natikitan ako, counterflow. And here's the funny story. I didn't know how much it was. So ngayon, nung titikitan ako, nakita nila na official ako ng Navy kasi may uniform was hanging. Magre-report ako sa Fort Bonifacio. So, nakita nila, ay sir, official pala kayo. Sabi niya gano'n, ng Navy. Oo kasi magre-report ako sa Fort Bonifacio. Hindi, sige na sir. Okay na, hindi ka na namin huhulihin. Sabi ko, hindi, tikitan mo ako. Kasi, kung di mo ako titikitan, hindi mo matitikitan yung mga nasa likod ko kasi maraming sumunod eh. Maraming sumunod. Hindi mo matitikitan yung mga nasa likod ko. Sabi, hindi na sir, official po kayo. At that time, nangungumpis ka pa ng lisensya. So, binigyan ako ng ticket. So, punta ako doon. Bong Nebriha, mag-claim ng lisensya, ganyan, magbabayad ako. And I was surprised kasi wala nakalagay na presyo. So, yung violation, sabi sa akin, isa no, 2,500. 2,500, sabi ko. And this was mid-90s to. 2,500 sabi. Mahal yun. 2,500. Sandali lang. Ano tinikit sa reckless driving? That is counterflow. Tira talaga itong mga enforcer nyo. Sabi ko, bakit sir? Pinagbibigyan na nila ako kasi official nga. Sabi ko, kasi hindi nyo matitikitan yung sa likod. Tikitan mo ako para matikitan mo yung sa likod. Tapos tinuluyan pa ako ng reckless. Hindi ko sinasabing ma-absuelto. Ako nga nagsabing tikitan ako. Parang I do not deserve yung 2,500. Hindi naman ako reckless driver. Ganito po, ay babawasan na lang po namin. So binawasan niya, parang ginawa niya na lang 500. So ito na lang po ang bayaran niyo. Kasi parang ang bayad nun from 2,500, parang 500 na yata yung next. Parang nilower niya lang. Wala pa kami ng mga
Actually, Sir Bong, pwede mo pa rin gamitin yung position mo ron, pero hindi, di ba?
Hindi.
Kasi gusto mo mag-comply sa batas. Di ba?
Kasi baka next time naman, pwede nyo laki-lakihan yung sign nyo.
Tama naman, di ba?
But, tinuturo ko yan. Sinasabi ko nga, alam nyo, enforcer, at ang batas walang puso. Minsan, black is black, white is white. Ang sulat. Pero ang enforcer meron. So, kung uunahan nyo ng angasan, pagalitan, sigawan, murahin ng enforcer, anong puso pa may bibigay sa inyo niyan? Di ba? Wala. So, palagay ko, if you just want to be warned, if you just want to receive a lower penalty, kung kaya naman, palagay ko, ang gawin is pakiusapan. Yung mga enforcer namin, tao, marunong umintindi. And that's what we've been teaching in the school right now. Empathy. Because matuto kayong mag-empathize sa mga tao because itong hinuhuli nyo is also a part of the public that we are trying to serve.
Very nice, Sir Bong. Sir Bong, what do you want to be remembered by the Filipino people? Ano yung legacy na pwede mong iwanan sa kanila?
The one who tried his best. The one who, yun siguro na ito yung parang inaano ko sa mga tropa ko rin. Lalo na yung mga may leadership potential. No one is fixed to that position forever. Hindi mo alam, baka bukas wala ka na dyan, tanggal ka. Just like what happened to me in 2023. Yeah. And in just the snap of the finger, I lost my team, I lost my position, I got suspended, I got reassigned. Just like that. It wasn't even my fault, no?
Correct. Yun yung sasabihin ko sana eh. Pinoprotektahan mo lang yung tao mo.
Yes, it wasn't even my fault. Ako na yung napagbuntungan, ako na yung nasisi, ako na yung pinagalita, ako na yung pinarusahan, ako na yung transfer and all that. Wala akong pagsisisi, no? Bakit? Because up to that last minute, I was working. I did not waste my time just gallivanting or just relaxing in the office, or I was just taking my time, precious. I did not. I was there on the ground on the very minute that it happened until I got suspended and I got removed. Sabi ko gano'n, ganun sana tayo na kung magtatrabaho tayo, you do not waste your time. Do it. Kaya nga nung nasa EDSA Arnel, when I was assigned that, sabi ko I was trying to rebel kasi sabi ko, bakit ako aalisin? Just like that also, nasa task force ako, nag-ooperate ako ng umaga, and then suddenly, pinatawag ako sa opisina ng general manager namin. Kami, and I didn't know, they are already having this plan to remove me and put me to EDSA.
Ito naman natin, through social media videos na kinakagat mo lahat ng problema ng EDSA. Superstar ka ng EDSA sa disiplina.
Hindi, sabi ko sa kanila, pakilala ko sarili ko, ako may-ari ng EDSA. Because ownership of the problem. Hindi lang yung kalye, pati yung problema. And kaya nung na-assign ako sa EDSA, I was rebellious. Ano ba naman? Ito ba ako i-assign dito? Wala naman solution. So it took me quite some time to adjust. Hindi, there's a purpose of reassigning me here. I'm missing out on it because I'm trying to resist it. Di ba? So sabi ko, hindi, sige, labas tayo. So lumabas kami. Nag-operate kami. So okay na sir, na-break in ka na, niloloko ko ng tropa. Bukas ulit, kakabukas namin din. The rest is history. Na gamay na namin yung EDSA. Parang pag hindi kami umiikot, parang kulang yung araw namin.
You made a big difference sa EDSA, Sir Bong. I just wanted to let you know. Whenever I come back home and I drive to EDSA or kasama ko yung pamilya ko, nakita ko ang difference ng pagbabago na nagawa mo. Tulad dati talaga. Mahirap.
Yeah.
Sir Bong, thank you very much. Any last message to our viewers and sa buong mundo, Pilipino pong sa buong mundo makakapanood po nito. Please, give your message.
Yes, thank you very much, Ernel, for this opportunity.
My pleasure.
Maraming salamat for inviting me over and to ating mga kababayan. Well, the MMDA is working very hard to address all the problems in Metro Manila. It's not easy. It's parang we have our plates full. May basura, no? So lahat yan ina-address po ng MMDA. Ang lang po, talagang hindi lahat naman po ng solusyon is nasa amin alone. It needs collaboration, coordination, cooperation of all the different agencies. As for me, makakaasa po kayo na tuloy lang po tayo magsiserbisyos publiko. Tuloy lang yung trabaho. And I hope you will continue to pray for us, my team, and you will continue to be behind us and support us in what we do.
Thank you very much, Colonel Bong Nembriha.
Thank you. Thank you, Arnel.
Colonel Bong Nembriha reminds us that real leadership isn't always about being popular. It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard or difficult. Whether on the streets of Manila or in the heart of those he serves, his legacy is built on action, integrity, and love for our country. Thank you for joining us. And as always, let's keep moving forward, one step, one change, one citizen at a time. Sir Bong, thank you very much.
Thank you, Arnel. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Colonel Bong Nembriha for Congressman 2028.
Salamat,
Thank you, Sir
Arnel.
Bong.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank
ah.
you.
Thanks for tuning in to Why Did You? I hope today's story inspired you and reminded you of the heart and spirit behind every Filipino journey. This podcast is brought to you by RR Food Ventures Corporation, makers of Kuya Arnel's Cooked Sweet Pork Sausage, Kuya Arnel's Pork Chicharrones, Habit Crispy Fried Chicken Skins, and Habit Pork Cracklings. Technical support and music by Gabby Arrieta. Once again, this is Arnel Arrieta, and you just listened to Why Did You? Until next time!
Classic never tasted this good. Habit Pork Cracklings delivers that old school crunch with modern flavor. No fluff, just crispy, protein-packed perfection. Hit it up on Amazon and stock up now. Crunchy, bold, irresistible. Habit Crispy Fried Chicken Skins brings the heat with real chicken and serious flavor. Low carb, high crunch. Snack smarter, snack habit. Find it now on Amazon.